Okay, I think we're up, are we? Green, green, green. Drop frame 0. Mic on. John's the first one up here. Good morning. Morning. Good morning. What's with the shoes today? The rain is off and on, off and on, off and on. I know you've all seen your news. Massive typhoons striking Japan at the moment. It's the other end of the country, of course. Here at this end, there isn't a breath of wind, but the rain comes in sheets and then stops and sheets. Even just when I was setting up the camera at the moment is pulled back in because the rain was just too much, bouncing. We'll probably see the rain start and stop during the stream today. I don't know. I saw the last news I saw this morning after I got up said the typhoon had actually shifted west, so it brushed Kyushu rather than rather than clobbering it directly. So the water level at Ome, I guess the river is up. I haven't seen it, but this is no problem. That river is so far below the house. There's lots of room for expansion. Okay, we have a show and tell later. It'll be a small show and tell, but interesting, I hope. Oh, and drop it where I can't reach it. Okay, work has been continuing. Where did we leave off here? I don't remember actually now because I've really been boogieing along. We had finished the key block, and I guess on the previous stream, was it Saturday, I was carving the last of the feathers. Not feathers, no. Whatever these things are called, wings, the wings. That was done. So you see black ink on it. I've test-proofed it already, and also to do color separations. This will be Karazuri, it won't be black, but the black on there won't bother it. And then moving along from there, I didn't wait for the stream. Yeah, I was working on the Karazuri, thank you. It's, and I got busy. The dragonfly body is done, this is done. This will be the background block, as you see. Here we go for the gray tone. And there are just now, I'll be finished, here we are. There's 2 more left. And it's scheduled to go to Reichan for test printing tomorrow. So gift prints wait for no one. Although I don't know how we're going to get them out of here. Whatever. Anyway, we might be disturbed this morning. I'm not quite sure. We might be disturbed this morning by a FedEx pickup man coming in to pick up a box. I don't know. It's scheduled for 9 o'clock on, and they come at their own time. But if he puts us at the early part of his pickup run, he'll be here at 9 o'clock. So the box is ready. Just simply take it away. Okay, this is going to be a block for color patches. It's going to be a sort of a peach color, part of the flowers, and some shading underneath and around the dragonfly. Doesn't mean much by itself at this point. So the wings, I think, are just going to be embossed. And again, we're in for test proofing. I've carved actually an extra block for this so that we can go both ways. And we've kept the wings on a separate block, so we have we've got the flexibility to do whatever we want with this thing. So the current thinking is there will be a very faint background color. The wings will be gray at the bottom, fading up to nothing. Dragonfly will have various colors, flowers will have colors. There will be the Karazuri on the wings. And then I've prepared an extra block, which actually I will be probably carving this morning. And we're going to try giving it a rain thing. We're going to steal an idea here. Those of you who know my Mystique of the Japanese print series from way back when, I don't know, 2000 and something, whatever, we did a rain block on it. This is a reproduction of a print published by Hasegawa back in the old days. And there was a very, very faint rain block on this. And I've prepared the same kind of thing for this. And whether the finished print will have that or not, I don't know. It looks very sketchy. Show again, Dave. It is sketchy. The colors here are not, this is not ukiyo-e colors. What we've got is some of the color blocks fit within the lines. and some of them fit partly within the lines and they have a scratch at the edge, and we're going to do block gradation. So these are, it's sketchy. It's supposed to be, the idea is it's the dab of the brush. This is not ukiyo-e black lines and solid colors. It'll be just dabs of the brush. And there's 8 faces prepared. Whether we use all 8 or not, I'm not sure. Okay, registration marks were cut. I did it a few minutes ago, thinking let's get really going quickly on this stream today. And we have level 5 Gampi. We have 5 Momme Gampi. I got another package of it in the post. Not in the post, a shipment arrived. So Dave's private stock now has level 3 and level 5 Gampi. Paper is out, thank you, for 2 printers today. Rei-chan, she's working on one of the gift prints, and Ayumi-san, she's working on a back issue. She's reprinting the Summer Tea Fields print from last year. Scorecards ready. Give me a break, you guys. Things are what they are, eh? Oops, too much glue. Still too much glue. This is the point. We should get rated. You know, I see the message. This stream is being rated by 500 people, whatever. This is the point. We should get rated by 500 people who don't know what we're doing here. And I'm going to do something, and the watching crowd here is all going to start waving their scorecards. And the people who are rating are going to think, what is going on here? Well, that reminds me actually too. When I was reading the leftover chat stream from the previous, was it the previous session or the session before? I noticed something. There was some kind of raid. Somebody is raiding you with 12 people or whatever, something like that. And I guess I didn't notice it, either just whatever. It had scrolled up by the time I did, or I just didn't even see it. I can't read, I can't read everything. So anyway, so I ignored it. And then I guess somebody who was in the raiding party got a bit miffed about this. I forget the exact comment. You guys must have seen it yesterday or whatever. He said, we're raiding, and he didn't even acknowledge this. And I'm like, well, I didn't even see this, but he didn't even acknowledge it. And the guy got pissed off. And I think he called me this old man, and he shuffed out of here. And I'm like, okay, whatever. You're the guests, but whatever. But it made me realize I really don't know. I don't know the Twitch, culture. The things that everybody's expected to know and expected to do. There's a standard culture and all of these things, and clearly I don't know, and I didn't do the right thing, what was expected of me. Let's just grab this and go. Bing. Next. Yeah, I guess but what are the people who have streams, like when they've got thousands of viewers and stuff like that? There's no way those people can be expected to be, having discussions with individual people. Surely, can I? But I guess what I missed was the announcement of the raid, and I was supposed to make a general announcement. Hello, raiders, welcome to this, and have a seat and enjoy the ride or something, I guess. And anyway, I didn't see it and didn't say. And anyway. No, I'm not bothered. But just whatever. 7.5 out of 10 because it's too easy. So I get handicapped on this, do I? Excuse me. The thing about the 5 Gampi as opposed to the 3 door, it really is a waste. It's almost twice as much fiber, and it's just wasted. It just gets thrown in the garbage can. So, you know, it really, if I was really thoughtful about what we were doing here, I would just use the 3. It's less expensive, and it saves raw materials, and we get a good result with it, you know. So, anyway. $79 out of 79. Quit rubbing. No, come on, you got to keep rubbing. You know, if it had been a perfect peel, rubbing here just to get the last little bits off. If you rub too hard, if there had been way too much glue, if it was too wet, the paper would slide a bit. If I rubbed too much in one direction, the paper slides. So all of the rubbing here, always, you'll see me doing it. It's not just round and around and around. I'm left, I'm right, I'm left, I'm right, I'm up and down, side to side. You've got to keep the rubbing light touch. You've got to do it in different directions. If you rub too much in one direction, it moves just a little bit, and you're screwed. You're screwed. Okay, let's carve. What color will this block be? This is going to be a peach tone, or at least in the Hiroshige original that we're sort of stealing from here. The flowers were 2 colors. There's a red on some of the flowers, and underneath it there's a sort of a peach tone, which is used as a part of shadow, different parts of the dragonfly. And it's not really drawn carefully and properly. You know, for example, the shadow here is under the legs, in the open space under the legs. It's very impressionistic. It's really very much impressionistic. It's not ukiyo in any way whatsoever. Okay, we can see what's going on. Good. It's still wet. It would be better to wait a minute or two because this block is really wet now from that glue soaking in. So this is not actually so cool. If I'm not careful here, I can actually slide this paper now on the surface. So this is not so great. But anyway, let's get going. Okay, before I forget, there's a few things to chat about. I know the collection, our online collection, has grown by leaps and bounds in the past few days. The team, Watanabe-san photography, Yamada-san, database updating, and Rose Council, one of our staff members, she's doing descriptions. They've been working like crazy. And let me pop a link here. A new section is just gone open, and we've got now a bunch of the Meiji era Kuchie prints are up online. And if you're on a desktop, whatever, you can get another browser when you can see those. And these are cool. We've photographed them really, really nicely and a very good resolution. And if you follow that link at the bottom, you'll see the set of images there. And there's 2 pages of them. So I think there's about 40 or so of those prints online at the moment. And they are very nice. And the Kuchie in the collection show a really interesting thing. The way we photograph these things, you know what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to show the defects. We show the creases. We show everything. I want you to see the piece of paper. I don't want you to see the image or just the image. I want you to see the piece of paper. And compared to some of the more carefully taking care of prints in the collection. The Couchier are all beaten up. They've been folded when they put in the magazine. They've been bashed around, not cared for very well, and they really show it in our photographs because we photographed under a raking angle. So this is part of my favorite part of the collection. These are really rough-looking, used, eaten prints. A lot of the other stuff's just too sterile. It's a picture, just too sterile. These are alive. Now I want a rough edge on this, so I'm going to carve outside it first. This is not the real end. We're going to carve outside it. And then after we've cleared it, we'll come back and roughen and taper that edge. Still on view, I haven't wandered off. Go to YouTube and search for bull garbage. Yeah, thanks very much. Whatever. YouTube. I've tried, these last few days actually. I tried. What day was it? I tried to set aside the whole day. There's 6,000 things yelling, but I thought if I just discipline myself, just set aside this day. The other jobs that are waiting, they've been waiting for 15 days. They can wait for 17 days. It doesn't matter. Just spend a couple of days on YouTube. And I tried, but it doesn't work. An email comes in, the DOSA calendar lights up, the printer says, I got to start on Wednesday, and if I don't have the paper, I can't start, and Dave's got to do that. We got one of those today. I've got to ship paper today. Kubota-san, our number one hot outside carver, he'd been doing a job for us last week, and he originally had said he'd need the next paper. What's today? Monday. He was going to need the next paper Thursday or Friday or something. So I had some few days grace, but he edited the DOSA calendar. This would be like, 2 nights ago. He said, I worked quicker than I expected, and I'm finished, and I need the next one on Tuesday. And this would have been like last Friday night or something. So he's thinking he needs paper Tuesday, but this is Friday night. And Dave sees this and goes, oh, Christ. He wants it Tuesday, which means I have to ship it Monday. No problem. Shipping it Monday means cutting the dry paper. So it's got to be dry by Monday. So that means I have to do the sizing Sunday. And as it happens, I didn't have any leftover size, any leftover stuff. It's hot. We have to use up what we're doing. We can't store it. During the winter, I can store it in the fridge for a few days or a week or so at least, but in the summer, I can't do that. So that meant I had to prepare some, what we call the eki, the extract, the dosa, which means pre-soaking the glue the night before. So this means he sent this on Saturday, and it meant I had to jump into action right there Saturday, get upstairs quickly, get the glue measured, get it going, start soaking. And he's thinking, I gave Dave lots of notice, I don't leave it till next Tuesday. And it's not lots of notice, it meant I had to jump into action right there. And there went my yesterday morning. I had to do the sizing. I spent yesterday morning doing the sizing for this, along with another job that somebody else asked for. So, and this is the main reason, not to make excuses, but this is the excuse. This is the main reason why we're so far behind on videos. It's because I'm still an integral part of every step of the production stage here. So we've got like, whatever it is, 9 printers working. And I prepare all their paper, and I check every one of their prints. I do the chitty totty for every single one. I pack them and ship them out to Ome. And all of that stuff, taking care of 9 printers, is actually almost a full-time job. And then what was happening last year, how could I do it before? Why is it such trouble now? Is it turned out that when we had staff here all the time, I didn't really realize how this was working. When we had staff here all the time, we had shop staff, we had print party staff, we had people in and out of the building all day long. And they weren't busy 8 hours of the day they were here. The girls would sit here behind the counter when there's no customer in. And there would be an order for a printers, whatever, and Teiko-san, can you please get those blocks and ship it to such and such person? So the staff did lots of this kind of stuff, wrapping this, checking this, opening this, getting it ready, shipping the stuff to Ome. They were just doing these little jobs all day long without me even thinking about it as part of their normal work. But now that they're not here, with nobody around to do all those little jobs that happen all day long, even, you can laugh at this, but even like getting the garbage ready and taking it out, and that's half an hour's job. Going through the building, emptying all the garbage cans, taking it all out. And now every single one of those jobs ends up on my shoulders. So here we go. Another bout of rain coming, can I? No idea how much. This could be the max, or it could be buckets. You could get so that you can't see that sign. Let's see how this goes. Some of the rain is just, it's crazy. There's not a breath of wind, so the rain just comes, sha. Oh, it's already stopped. You'll see, just hang on, you'll see. There is some fantastic rain happening here. As Dave talked about the shipment of the mid-year Patreon prints, the mid-year Patreon prints are done. They are printed, they were sent to Ome, and what Ome is doing, because it's like 600 of these things, or 500 of these things, they are doing them in batches of 20, 30, 20, 30 each day as they do the normal shipping and packing work. So they will do their packing work, then spend a half an hour, packing Patreon prints. So the Patreon prints are on the way. Thank you very much. They are on the way. They are on the way. But again, I have to qualify that based country by country. There are countries we still can't ship to. I forget the exact list. It's Australia, New Zealand, Iceland, I think is on there. I think India went back on, actually. India was off for a while. But if you're in I was saying normal country, excuse me. If you're in a country where the post office is still shipping to, then yes, they are on their way. Thank you for your patience. If you're waiting for a share certificate, those are sitting right beside me here. They're waiting for me to get them all out, get them signed, put the numbers, and get them in the post. So those have not been sent, I'm sorry. The share certificates, they are in process. They are right beside me on the desk here. That wasn't much of a rainstorm. 10 seconds. I don't know if you can see it, but lots of these places I'm carving outside the lines. As I said, we're going to clear first, and then we'll bevel those lines. We want a fuzzy edge to some of this stuff. Yeah, the typhoon, I don't know. I mean, I haven't seen the map. I know there is a typhoon out there. Whether our rain is officially part of the edge of the typhoon or it's just rain, I don't know, We have no wind at all, so there isn't any typhoon feeling to us. There's the hot oppressiveness. It's oppressive. The sky feels like it's heavy. I'm soaked. My shirt is wet on the back. But it's very, very quiet. It's kind of thing, when there is a typhoon actually coming towards you, in the old days they didn't know, of course, there was just, they didn't know what was out there. And it was like this, when you're at the leading edge of it, when the typhoon's on its way, it's the same thing. It's dead still, dead calm. The bands of clouds are up there. You can see the circular shape. And you wouldn't know whether you were about to get pasted or it was going to miss you or whatever. The garbage men jogging along the street. Well, Shibori is late today. Oh, is he going to park and leave his motor running? Which driver is it today? There's two of them. One leaves the motor running and one doesn't. We're out of luck. Okay, I'll turn off the outside mic. Actually, City Hall had a campaign a couple of years back. They called it Idling Stop. And it was a bylaw that trucks, whatever, even at a red light, you come to a red light, you're not allowed to idle. You're supposed to turn off your motor. There's the two guys. This has got the rough guy. You can hear the crashing and bashing as he smashes that stuff around. Different personality. All right, regular viewers, you know what's coming up next. Persuading time. Oh yeah, earthquake. Okay, thanks for reminding me. Thanks for reminding me. Earthquake. Let's do this. Let's get the camera, move it back a little bit. Thank you, thank you, thank you. John was poised. John had his caps lock already. Earthquake! Okay, for those of you who don't know, we will do some wide clearing here. It looks like it's going to be a bit noisy. We have a good compressor limiter on here. It shouldn't be too bad. Let's test. If you're on headphones, please be careful. No, too early for show and tell. Okay, let me do this. Make some noise. This will take about 5 minutes. Then we'll come back to quiet work. Are you ready? Oh, we're going to be careful here. Let's see. Okay, let's do it this way. Something else about this job like this. I know this is not a new block. The key block is on the back side. So if I'm careless here, if I bang this around or shuffle it or bang it or get chips underneath it, we can damage the key block. How do I know that? Never mind. So, too long for the camera. Hang on a sec. Okay, I think we'll switch back now to the quieter tools. Let's see. Sounds like he's packing up. There he goes. Actually, just as well, I know the noisy part. Just as well, just as well. Love this chisel. Okay, enough noise. Sorry about that. Thanks for your patience. Get some quiet stuff now. Anybody still here? Conversation going on which I'm not part of. Okay, no problem. I'll have a read later. Thank you. Van Gogh. Eidringstopp. I guess maybe what I might do or should do or could do is politely and quietly, next time he comes, just nip out there for a second and ask him if he can kill the idol. And just tell him why. Just tell him we have a broadcast going on. You shouldn't be upset about that, but whatever. Oops. Actually, it'd be funny if I did do that. If I had gone out there today and asked him, "Excuse me, I know we're doing a broadcast. Can you please, turn off the engine while you're doing this, And he'd say, "Okay." And he'd turn his engine off, and I'd come back to work. And a minute later, he'd pop his nose in the door to have a look at what's going on. And I'd be sitting here going, "Bang, bang, bang," and he'd be like, "Okay." I didn't put the mic back up, so I do that. Outside mic now going back up. Minus needs you 28 dB. Oh, did I mention the big news here? Was it the other day? I might have mentioned this already. You know that real estate company moved out the other day. There was two changes. The lady across the street, Crow Wars, whatever. The lady across the street took down her sign, but she does still seem to be in business. She's just doing things normally, opening up every day and having her bags and stuff there. But the little real estate company next to them that moved out ran away at the last day of the month. There is now an official sign on their door saying "for rent." And that's a really, really unusual sign to see in Asakusa. There's such demand for the buildings and retail spaces here that it never gets to the point of advertising for a tenant. The grapevine takes care of it as soon as somebody decides to get ready and pack up and leave. whatever, the new tenant is always found and decided long before they have to advertise. But there it is. There's a sign there now that says, Tenant Boshu, looking for tenants. And we see that sign actually here and there now around Asakusa. And this is unheard of. Unheard of. So the buildings are having trouble finding tenants. We all know why, of course, but so such things should affect things like rent negotiations, of course. That's the hot dog garbage truck. Okay, there's the wide clearing down. Now let's get up to these lines. Let's switch to the other tool so that I can, well, can I keep it under one place here? Can I stay in one place regular enough, fair enough? So let's try. The registration marks are here. They're right here. There's the corner mark and the Hikitsuke. 2 registration marks. Did I consider including anything in the background? No, I don't think so. This is going to be a minimalist, clean print. The focus will be the dragonfly, poised, the embossing on the wings. And the background will be it will be a background. As I said, the idea that we may put the rain shadow in the back there is also, at the moment, open and on the table. This is going to be a very, very quiet print. Good morning, gang. Looks like lots of conversations going on in the background, are there? Okay. I forgot to get a water here, you know. cherry layer, it's, whatever, I can tell you exactly how thick it is. This one's a little bit thicker than our normal. The cherry layer is 6 millimeters. We aim for 5. This one is 6. This one is going to be not quite so. Oh yeah, this one's, yeah, same thing. So these are 6. Our goal at the end of the whole process is to have a layer about 5 millimeters thick. About a quarter inch, I guess. I don't know the number exactly. And we rarely ever see the plywood inside. You know. A block like this, I would never get down to the plywood. So. Okay, we got some of these lines clear now. I don't know if we can zoom in closer or if you can see it. I'm not quite sure. I don't think I can get any closer without spoiling the camera. Some of the lines here I carved along the black line of the image. So I carved flat, sharp, and clear, and the color in this case will fill between the black lines. Another part of it here, for example, at the top of it I carved along the black line, sharp and clear, but at the bottom I carved a little bit outside. And the reason is we want the bottom side of this line to be what's called ita bokashi. Ita is block, bokashi is gradation. So instead of having the line carved sharp on both sides, one side is going to be rounded off. So the color on this side will be sharp and clean and smooth. The color on this side will be fuzzier and mottled. And we do that a couple of ways. As I said, I carved outside the line, and I can now take my knife and put it at an extreme low angle and shave. You know, we normally carve almost straight down, but I'm shaving off the end of this, step 1 here, up to nearly the line. And then second is I'm just going to tear it up. random spots and clips and bang, bang, bang. It's all random, and it will just leave the edge of that line. It'll be sharp and clear against the black line here, and this side will be just a bit fuzzy and beveled. Now, on such a small scale as this print, it's really no big deal. And actually, the printers, if they press a bit too hard with their barons, it will mitigate that and just make a clear line anyway. So I don't quite know how it'll come out. Another truck here, what's that? So it's just to give them more of a random brushed effect rather than the sharp clear of the ukiyo-e type carving. Whatever, when you get it, you can have a look at it. It won't even be noticeable, really, maybe, I don't know. We're going to do something similar on this side. We're going to do scratch brushing on the rain block as well. What's the time? Not even 9 o'clock. Okay, I have got to actually, I'm sorry, I've got to break here for a second. I forgot to prepare my water, and I am dying here. Excuse me a second, let me get back to the fridge. Grab a bottle of water from the fridge. Excuse me a second. Yoisho. Okay, there's only beer. Oh, no, back in a sec. Let me just get a water. Just 1 minute. There you go. Thanks, sir, for the disruption. Oh, got it. Last time I did that with my teeth, and everybody yelled at me. Yeah, the flickering light to show it's the, excuse me. It's the camera lens scanning. Whatever, the camera lens has a scanning rate that doesn't match the. Am I a Perrier man? We are a Wilkinson man. That's all I have available to me. Wilkinson #1, which is Tansan. Carbonated water. That's all. Carbonated soda water. Is that what it's called? Carbonated water. Sorry about that. Excuse me. I just forgot to get the water before I started. So. Some hooligan, yeah. Built-in hooligans. Where was I? That feels better. Thank you very much. Sorry about the disruption. Disruption, whatever. Oh, I learned something else last night too. I was meant to chat with you about this. Something else I learned last night. I got an email from a friend, acquaintance becoming a friend, whatever. Don't know him very well yet. Can't really call him a friend yet. But there's a young man. I think I shouldn't say I think. I thought he was from Britain. I don't know. There's a young man here in Japan who's been here for a few years now. He came as one of those English language teaching assistants. I don't know, ALTs, ELTs, whatever they're called. And he lives here. He's been living here for a couple of years, and he's studying woodblock carving. He's here to be a real carver. He has a real strong goal to be a traditional carver, not so much printing. He doesn't want to do both sides like I did. He wants to be a traditional carver, and he is here. As I guess he's actually now an official apprentice of Asuka-san, the carver, who a good friend of mine, who is the last carver here, who I really have a lot of respect for. Anyway, the young English boy, Taran Casey, he and I had an email exchange last night. And I didn't realize that he has been on these Twitch streams, and I've been a bit of an idiot. He's been here following these streams, and it seems he's been contributing and answering questions and stuff like that, without me realizing. I think he thought I knew who he was, but I didn't know who he was, so I wasn't polite enough to respond when he was commenting and stuff. And I don't know if he's here this morning. Probably not, because it's work time. He has an actual job as an English teacher still, same as I did in my first few years here. I taught English here for the first 3-4 years until I could make it as a printmaker. And Taran-san, Casey-san, I don't even know which is his first name. Taran-san is doing the same thing. He's paying the rent with English teaching until he can get up and running as a carver. And I hadn't realized he'd been part of the Twitch community here, so I'll have to keep an eye out for him. His name is Casey, as in C-A-S-E-Y, but I think he's on Twitch here as a KC, as in Kansas City, that kind of a KC. And keep a lookout for him. If you see his name coming up here on the Twitch stream, Taran KC, you should know this guy knows what he's doing. He's here as an apprentice. He's done a couple of years study already. He is an up-and-coming young carver. I haven't seen any of his recent work. I don't know. The work I have seen, he has an Instagram which has some very impressive work on it. Is he here today? Probably not, can I? Nobody's mentioning it, so I guess he's not here. And I don't quite know how he's swung the visa thing. Oh, I guess what it is it's from the teaching, the English teaching. He came as one of those assistants to work in the schools, which must have been the visa at the beginning. And now he's actually working as an English teacher, as in terms of being hired. So I guess that's his visa. And I don't know the longer term plan, because there's no such thing as a visa for studying traditional arts here in Japan like this. A permanent, a long term visa. So I don't know what his plan is. But the reason I brought it up is because it's really cool to have this happening, because he really seems serious. And going by the stuff on the Instagram page, he looks like he's got some skills. So this is nothing but good news for us. Nothing but good news. I better turn the audio off outside again. Yeah, I think ALT sounds familiar. I think that's what he was. I don't think that's what he is now, but I think that's what he started at. And I don't remember his Instagram. I'm sorry. I don't know. I don't remember his Instagram name. I'm sorry. I don't know. It's not his name. It's something he's made up for himself. I don't know, an identity. It's a name. Whatever. I can't do it today. I'll try and look it up, and I'll try and remember to ask. If you remind me about it next time, tomorrow or something, I'll try and remember to look it up. No way am I going to be able to remember something like that. Yeah, company up front. This is the construction going on 2 doors down. We've learned it's going to be a crepe shop. The kitchen is in the back, and they sell out front, and they've coming along with the work. We had quite a lot of disruption the other day from noise. They were plastering, and these are workmen coming in. I recognize the truck. Tell you what, if I go to Insta should... Is that it? Taran Casey? I thought he used a different name for Instagram. How strict am I about using traditional methods? That's an open question. I know you can answer both ways. In one way, we're actually really strict about it in that we don't use lasers and 3D printing, and we avoid mechanical aids and stuff like that. All of this stuff could be done much simpler and quicker with more automation and mechanism. So in that sense, we're very traditional. But in another sense, the same way, we're not traditional. I'm using a piece of plywood-based wood here instead of one single piece of wood. We've used adaptations where it seems beneficial to the quality of the work, but without removing any of the benefits of being handmade and hand-touched. There's no single clear line to be able to explain the difference, but some aspects of our work, most aspects of our work, are completely traditional. We haven't mechanized, and yet there's a base of stuff that we will not change. It's going to be cherry wood. We haven't ever, in all experimentation, we haven't found another wood that does the job anywhere near as well as this does. So in that sense, 100% traditional. The washi paper, of course, is the rock and soul and foundation of the prints we make. And we are using paper made in, as much as is possible, the exact same methods as back in the old days, because it really makes a difference. Paper made with modern methods does not produce the same effect. So that's kind of the red line to cross or not cross. If it's visible, if the technological change we are thinking about doing or exploring or playing with, if it's visible in the finished work as a change from the older prints, that's when we don't do it. But if it's not visible in the finished work in any way, shape, or form, then that's kind of more within a thing that we would do or think about doing. So I'm sorry to be vague about it, but it's a vague thing. Just you can see from what I'm doing now, we are of course using the traditional methods. There's no laser cutting, burning down into this block. We like doing it this way. That's the pleasure. Are we done? I think that one might now be done. Okay, I think that's it. Yeah, we saw start to finish one of the color blocks. Come on. Any problem with the stream? Ginkgo hanga, that's it. Somebody found it. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Ginkgo hanga. Yes, that's what I couldn't dig up. Can I show the test print again, please? The test print from this. I don't think I have a test print. I took it upstairs. And gave it to Dei-chan. Oh, here we are. Yes, here we are. Okay, there's the first one. Here we are. This is the first test print. The spackle, I got, it was in the way when I was brushing. Is there a stream issue? Video locking up. I'm showing green across the bottom here. Here's the test print. Somebody's asking me, blah, blah, blah. Can I show the test print? Tom's asking. Hi. So the rough outline of what's going to be happening here, as I said. Well, let's have a look at them. Yay! Goodbye. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. The speckles are here because when I was brushing the key block, this was just lying on the bench, and the brush did it flickered out. Okay, here's the drill. 8 sides. There is the key, which is the dragonfly, and there are the wings, which will probably be printed embossing. There's then going to be a background block. What color it will be and what it will be used for, I'm still not sure. It will be very, very faint. There will be no deep blue background with a moon chopped out and stuff like this. And this is the block simply for everything except the flowers and the body of the dragonfly. It will be the distant area behind the things in front. There's another block. This is for gray highlights, part of the eyes, not the full eyes, body segments, and for the wings. And I'm guessing we'll print gray at the bottom here and do a gradation up to nothing at the top. We'll see. Next block, basic green tone for the body of the dragonfly, under the eyes and everything. Next block, this is the red tone overlaying the flowers. The flowers is going to be a peach tone with red overlay. That's this one. This was the peach with the red overlay on top. And then there's the rain block. So that's the concept of the block breakdown. And starting tomorrow, we'll have a go with the printing. Okay, now what's our time? 9:12. Next job for me is cutting, but let's do a few strokes just so you can see what I'll be doing here. Let me get that sample out. Chitty will be a big problem with this empty space. Chitty will indeed be a big problem with this empty space. And there's nothing I can do about that except, well, you know what we're going to do. The print will be in the catalog. It's not there yet. Okay, I don't know if you can see this. I think you can. Let me see if I can zoom in just a bit more. Here's the kind of effect we're going to try and do with this. And you see the rain. The rain is carved in sheets, and there's an area carved out, but also there are a bunch of striations, and it's all roughed up at the edge, the same way as you saw me do with that block just a moment ago. The edges here are roughed up and dirtied. This is what I'm going to do this morning after I get the FedEx thing out of here. This is what I'm going to do this morning. You can see the roughness here. Look, see this? Dot, 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 dot. That's what I'll be carving on this block. And then we're going to print it as faintly, faintly, faintly as we possibly can. So I'm just stealing an idea that we stole. This is the third time around we're stealing the same idea. So. And this print is from our Mystique of the Japanese Print series, which we still have available. Yeah, we have another dragonfly print in our catalog. It's printed in a different way. It's a design by Utamaro, and we reproduced it exactly. And we did gold. The speckles on the background of that print are actual gold. It's gold leaf crumpled up and scattered over the surface of the print. And the wings are done with mica powder. Has somebody linked it? I don't know. It's, I forget what number it is. Okay, it's 9:15. Let's move on to the next step. You know what it's time for? Show and tell. Which I've lost. Okay, two parts to this. We're going to do a quick repeat of something I showed you a couple of months ago. And we have to do that because the one I'm going to show today is kind of like part 2 for that. Excuse me. Both of these items were published by the same person, by Hasegawa. We saw this little one a couple of weeks ago. We saw this a couple of weeks ago here on this Twitch stream. This was the show and tell sometime last month. It was a small calendar book done in crepe paper style. It was a small calendar book published by Hasegawa back in, turn of the century. So it was back in like 1900 or just before that. I think it was printed in 1898 to get ready for the dawn of the century in 1900. I'm not going to go through the whole thing again. 1901, whatever. Interesting. Turn of the century is 1901. Anyway, we don't need to get into that. I'm not going to go through the whole thing again, but the point being, it was published by Hasegawa, and it was made up of images from his catalog. It was children playing different activities through the whole year, and it was a calendar that went month by month by month by month by month. So be it. Hasegawa made a big business of calendars. It was one of his mainstays. His two biggest jobs were the fairy tale stories, which we've seen before, the Momotaro books and stuff like that, done in crepe. And he sent these overseas. Yeah, this one was made, as you can see, for a bookstore in New York. They would have ordered 200 copies, 500 copies, whatever. Hasegawa made them and shipped them off to New York in advance of the year for which the calendar was on. Anyway, all his stuff was not crepe. He also did a bunch of stuff that was not crepe, and that's what we're going to look at today. This also is Hasegawa. This also is calendar, but this one is not creped. This is normal woodblock printing, normal in the sense of, the same way that we do it nowadays. And you can see what's going on here. It's a calendar for 1910. And this one, it's done in, it's a book. It was an accordion style sewn together with a fabric type cover. And it's a little bit the worse for the wear, but it's still holding on. Let's have a look at this. And here we go. And it's got, actually, it's interesting. It's got somebody must have given to somebody else. Let's have a look. How far can we zoom in? It's readable, right? And look at that, an actual pen. Do you remember? I remember doing that, as a lefty. I struggled and struggled and struggled. And this lady also is struggling. Look at this. It's blotty and then it's clear at the end. She's got a bit too much ink on there. To Dearest Ada from Mrs. Patton. Would you write Mrs. if it's yourself? Would you write Mrs.? It's like me saying, hi, Buru-san desu. You can't use san here in your own name. Somebody will call me Buru-san, but I can't use san about myself. I will say, John-san, how are you doing? From Mrs. Patton. I don't know. Anyway. And again, they've gone with this strange Hasegawa calendaric style. And I can guess why they've done it, because to do your lettering, it has to go horizontal, because there's no vertical lettering in English. Let's look at the picture. And nicely done. Look at the scale. There's my thumb. Look at the scale. These faces. This. To a student from her teacher, I guess so. So does the teacher call herself Mrs. Patton? Maybe so. I guess so. Or definitely a woman of an older age speaking down to somebody younger. And because this is a calendar, we are going to see images that presumably match the seasons as they go through. And these young ladies, it's winter. We've got the hibachi. This is the whole source of heat for the entire house. It's a charcoal brazier with some coals inside. And these are metal chopsticks, which you stick in to stir the coals. And they are playing karuta, which is the game of the famous Old Poets series. And the poetry is split up into two decks. Half goes on the floor, half goes reading, and you search for the poetry as somebody reads it. And beautifully done. And as always with Hasegawa, it's over the top. Didn't need a gradation on this. It would have been just fine without the gradation. But let's do a gradation. And he's done the same thing on the purple. They've pulled the brush back just a little bit. At the very end of the kimono, the purple kimono, it's a gradation at the end. didn't need to be like that. And my God, the face, I tell you. No, her eyes are not open. Her eyes are just a shape, but it's so close. January. February, generic, Mount Fuji. What have we got? A little, I see. And February, 28 days in February. Hey, suka. And the construction of this book is interesting. These two prints are actually on different pieces of paper. I've tried to look at it. This one goes underneath. This was not printed like this, I believe. It's hard to tell on this one. Just a sec. No, hold that back. I'm wrong. This is the same sheet of paper. It is. It's the same sheet of paper folded across. So these would have been printed together as a single woodblock print. Sorry about that. And then folded and then glued at the side to the next sheet of paper. And these two, that hasn't been opened. Let's look at this. Yes, it's the same sheet of paper, but it's creased so hard. I do not want to force it open here. And away we go. March. Generic scenery. It's going to be scenery, it seems, for the most part. April, of course. Oh, it must be a famous tree. It's got a name. Whether this is a real place or just something generic, I don't know. For May, we are back to the seasonal. And again, beautiful gradations, beautiful touch. This is the Hasegawa taste. If someone like us who we have experience with these things, if the whole book is obviously Hasegawa, but if you had just given me a scrap of paper printed like this, it's Hasegawa. Just, we all know, it's Hasegawa's style and taste. No, fountain pen is confusion about fountain pen. I'm sorry, I was talking about fountain pens because of the calligraphy at the beginning of the book. The rest of this book is Japanese wood block printmaking, the same as you've seen for the past hour, carving pieces of wood and then rubbing paper on top of the pieces of wood to make images. What we are looking at are Japanese woodblock prints from 1910, bound into a small little book. Very simple, but extremely. Oh, look at this. This is interesting too. This is the old calendar, eh? For us now, in modern Japan, October is autumn moon, stag on the distant hill, blah, blah, blah. It's October. But back in the old calendar, this is now, the 8th month is now autumn, because the calendar was starting in what we would now consider as the 3rd month. It's basically 2 months slipped back. The old calendar, the lunar calendar, you see it, Chinese New Year these days, it comes up in late February or sometimes even into March. So if you count from that point, counting 1 as March, by the time you get to August, by the time you get to the 8th month, you are actually in October. And this era, this is 1910, Japan is still wrestling with both of these things. Many people are using the lunar calendars, the old calendars. This calendar was made for foreigners, so it uses the modern months and the modern dates. But the person who did the illustrations for this, when he is hearing the 8th month, he is thinking autumn. So it's very interesting. It doesn't match what we think of as the seasons. Some of them do. He's put the cherry trees in April, which is actually when they blossom. But the autumn clear moon is not August, it's October here, culturally. So very, there's a complete cultural mix and there's a cultural confusion happening here. farm lady has been out with her sickle gathering, don't know, gathering flowers and brush. Someone was mentioning the moon looks embossed. It's not specifically embossed. What you're seeing with the moon is that's the untouched white paper. So the moon is the only part of that sheet that didn't get printed. And actually there's a part down here too, another white part, this water. So the moon did not get touched, and the pressure of the printer's tool around it, when he printed the sky, the pressure of his tool flattened and thinned the paper, leaving the moon to stand up, giving the impression of being embossed. But the moon actually was not touched. It was the only place that wasn't touched. And we see that in any traditional Japanese print of this type. White areas are untouched paper. What would this have cost? I have no idea. I have no idea. They're in the Hasegawa catalog. We could find out. It would have been 25 cents or something, US money. Hasegawa listed his prices in dollars because his customers were foreigners. What have we here? Well, I think these are rice straw shocks. After the harvest is finished, the rice is the rice is not here. These are the shocks, I think, drying out. They will be used for all kinds of stuff. Rice straw was used for sandals, for clothing. They're closing in December. No snow. Interesting. This one, this is what I would have guessed to be the print for September or October, but this is the December print. Not quite sure what we're seeing here. Green and orange in December. No idea. Your guess is as good as mine. Here we go. There we go, Hasegawa, Tokyo, the man himself. So there we go, a little item. There we go, and that's it. That's the end of the book, all pasted together. Nice, very cheap, very interesting. It was, of course, aimed at the foreign tourists that were here in Japan at that time, and for sale overseas, like we saw, to bookshops overseas. That was his main business there. Okay, nice, quiet, peaceful one. Recently, the show and tell has been a bit raucous and a bit noisy and a bit sketchy, but whatever. Our collection is full of stuff like this, full of quiet items like this. You know, lots of pleasure, lots of pleasure. One by one, we're getting them up online. As I said, those Kuchie series went up last night. Over the next few days, in fact, actually, you can sort of steal a view at these right now. If you get a pencil, make a note of these numbers. Oh no, they're in the collection already, without explanations. We've been scanning, we've been putting the prints up online and then doing the explanations later. And sets number, I've got a list. They just went up last night, 2 nights ago. 43, 49, 56, 58, 60, 61. There's 6 brand new sets up online. Those bridges we saw the other day, Hokusai waterfalls, they're now part of the collection. Have a look at these. Let me just type one URL, for example. I can't remember the URL. So here's your shape, here's your pattern. And the numbers 43, 49, 56, 58, 60, and 61 are now up online waiting. Okay, that's it. I'm out of here. We're back again Thursday morning. I have no idea what I'm going to be doing. The carving on the gift print is going to be finished in a few minutes. Maybe I'll be back on the boys with the calligraphy, or maybe we'll have another new job starting. I have no idea. We'll have a look. Thanks for watching. It's been a bit of a mixed stream again today. But actually, we got some work done. I got a new block finished. Okay. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye. See you on Thursday.